What's up, everybody, and welcome back to That Nintendo Show. Today I'm going to start off with a little story, and that story is called the Nintendo Wii U. If you were around 10 years ago, 10-ish years ago, I guess at this point, Nintendo decided they were going to follow up their best-selling home console of all time with what would become their worst-selling home console of all time. And it's mostly to blame through bad marketing and also the name of the system. You were to ask your average consumer who didn't follow video games all the time, like I feel like a lot of people who probably watch this channel, including myself, do. They didn't know that the Wii U was a brand new system. They thought that the gamepad was an accessory for the regular Nintendo Wii, and that's very fair. And because of that mistake, they went from 101 million units sold of the Nintendo Wii to 13.5 million units sold for the Wii U. And I'm sure you could say there's other things involved there, but the Wii U had some actually really good games on it, which a lot of people have gotten to experience for the first time by playing them on the Switch. But it seems like history might be repeating itself, or at least people think that it's starting to repeat itself. And that is due to a YouTube poll that's been going around on people's feeds. I haven't seen it personally. It's been all over the Reddit Gaming Leaks and Rumors thread. People have actually, like other YouTubers, have seen this thing. And pretty much in the question that's going around in the poll is, which of these gaming products would you consider buying? And it's got your PS5 and your Xbox Series X, but it also says Switch Attach. Now, this is the first time that the name Switch Attach has ever come up in any kind of thing whatsoever. Most people call it the Switch Pro, the Switch 2, the new Nintendo Switch, the Super Nintendo Switch, stuff like that. Never Switch Attach, which has got people dumbfounded into thinking that, okay, if this is real, what is the Switch Attach? What are you attaching to the Switch to make it better? I guess it could be like an external GPU to give it more performance or something? I don't think so. I think this is actually fake. I'm just trying to brainstorm here because this is what's going around in the world of gaming today as far as Nintendo is concerned. But I think it brings up a good question because, you know, there's not been a lot of talk about what the gimmick is for the Switch 2. Nintendo only releases a new game console usually when they've got a new gimmick for it, like the Wii with motion controls, or the Wii U with the gamepad, even though people didn't understand what that meant at the time, or the N64 with being the first console that could have 4 controller slots on it, or, you know, just anything like that. So if the Switch Attach is the name of the console, then what are you attaching to it that makes it cool? I remember one of the first videos I put out, my friend David brought up that it would be cool if the Switch had like a second screen on it that kind of made it like a DS. So what if it's a secondary screen that snaps onto it to give you more like a DS feel that turns the Switch into like a clamshell, and there's different things you can put on. Just spitballing here, that'd be pretty cool. But is that enough to separate the Switch 2 or the successor to the Switch from the main Switch? I don't know. I'm in the camp of Nintendo has found their niche with what their platform is, and hybrid gaming, they've nailed it with the first one. I'm sure that the Switch 2 is it's gonna blow the Switch 1 out of the water as far as what it's capable of doing. But if they're gonna do that, they need to call it the Switch 2. Like, PlayStation has, you know, they've set their mark with PS1, PS2, 3, 4, 5, and I guess 6 coming up in the next couple years now. And Xbox, they do their own thing. There's no helping them as far as their naming conventions go. But Nintendo, if their next system is just going to be a more powerful Switch that plays better games, why not call it a Switch 2? Every year we get a new iPhone, we get a new Samsung, a new Pixel phone, and they're just numbered the same. People are okay with you calling it the Switch 2. And then in 8 years from now, if you want to release a Switch 3, cool, go for it. But if it's not going to be related to some huge gimmick that's a part of the system, I don't know, just stick it with a number on the end of it and not something crazy. But also, Switch Attach is a really dumb name. And if you want the Switch 2 to outsell the Switch 1, which is on track to outsell the current best-selling home console of all time, the PS2, you got to give it a better name than that. And again, I don't believe that Switch Attach is the real name. It's just what's going around online. I would love for it to be called Super Nintendo Switch. I think it just fits so well. But anyway, I want to know what you guys think. What do you want the next Switch to be called? And do you think Switch Attach is as dumb of a name as I do? Let me know in the comments what you think about Switch Attach. I do also want to talk about another thing. This whole video, I guess I should preface this at the beginning of it, it's pretty much just all about leaks and rumors, because there's no real news happening this week so far. But the internet seems to be really fixated on that story about the Switch Attach and another one regarding the Mario Day announcements that we got a few days ago. Now, when I reported about that, I had said that Illumination and Nintendo had announced they were working on a sequel to the Mario Brothers movie. And that's kind of like half true. They said that they're making another movie in the Mario universe, but it's not necessarily a sequel to the Mario movie. Well, leakers online, who claim to know things more than most people do, including this fine specimen named Zippo, who has a semi-credible track record, let's say, has come out and said that, quote, "I'm also hearing that Next Level Games' Switch 2 debut, Luigi's Mansion 4, is set to release in the first half of 2026. The game is sounding incredibly ambitious, and this is easily the biggest and most expensive game Next Level has ever made." That makes sense because, as game development progresses to newer hardware, games do get more expensive. That all checks out. I think 2026 is like an average time you would expect for the next Luigi's Mansion to come out. But I've been riding the high of Luigi's Mansion 3, and then you have Luigi's Mansion 2 HD coming out this year. So I'm sure that they're working on spinning up a new title and it'll be out soon. The rest of this, though, says, so again, this game sounds incredibly ambitious and this is easily the biggest and most expensive game Next Level has ever made. Expect absolutely mind-blowing visuals and animation in a game that is twice the size of Luigi's Mansion 3. If you thought that Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart looked good, this blows it out of the water. That is a guarantee. That is a very, very bold statement to make. I play video games on all platforms. I expect part of my audience, at least, does also. I don't know how many people here play PlayStation or Xbox or Switch or PC, whatever, but if you can even go on YouTube and look up a video of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, on the visual side, it is one of the best looking, quote, next-gen video games that's available right now. And it was a launch window-ish title for the PS5. Came out in the first year. And that is a bold claim that Luigi's Mansion 2 is going to look better than Ratchet & Clank on the Switch 2. And it might. I'm not saying it won't, because we're talking about something that's 2+ years away from now. Technology advances at a rate we don't. It's unprecedented how fast everything moves, and the next level games, they might be working on cooking this thing up, and it might look as great as this leak says, but it's really hard to believe that this is going to happen. I think the only credible part about this leak is that we know the Mario movie is coming out in April of 2026. They did say that it's a Mario universe movie, not necessarily a sequel to the Mario Brothers movie. So it is entirely possible it's a Luigi's Mansion movie. And because, they kind of hinted at it in the Mario Brothers movie with the whole side thing with Luigi in it. So it kind of checks out. And to release a game in the same time frame as that totally makes sense. That's what I said about when the Mario movie came out last year. They needed to have a Mario game out around the same time. And, it wasn't close, but we did get Mario Wonder in the same year. So I think it's entirely plausible that that part's legit. But I have a hard time believing that Luigi's Mansion 4, even though Luigi's Mansion 3 is one of the best looking Switch games, and it only runs at 1080p, and we don't know what the Switch 2, its resolution is going to be, but I just have a hard time believing it's going to look as good as Ratchet & Clank. But it could very well be the best looking Switch 2 game, at least for a very long period of time, so we'll have to see. I know this video is very unorthodox. It's kind of all over the place. I'm really just ranting and publishing it on the internet. But I really hope you give me some feedback on what you think about it, especially talking about rumors and stuff instead of really just hitting up on news articles as they hit. But also, let me know what you think about the Switch 2 potentially being called Switch Attach. If you think Luigi's Mansion 4 has a shot to be better looking than the best looking next gen video game that's currently available. And make sure you like and subscribe. It really means a lot. I've talked about it in my community tab and also in other videos. But for this being a really small channel with right now 30-ish subscribers, and already to have videos that hit over 1,000 views, that means the world to me as a small-time YouTuber. I really appreciate it. Make sure you share the video with your friends, anyone you know that's like a Nintendo enthusiast like yourself and like me. Let's grow this community more together. I'll be back soon with more, hopefully, actual Nintendo news instead of covering leaks and rumors and stuff. You guys have a great week, and I'll see you soon.